What up, bookcrows? I'm Thyme, and I will be your host today, and I am joined by my forever co-host, Beryl.
Woot? That was the most
And today...
unenthusiastic woot.
Yes, it was. And today we will be reviewing Voice of the Ocean by Kelsey Impeachike. Did I say that right?
I'm pretty sure if it's not right, it's so close to right.
Okay, we're gonna go with that.
Impeachike?
But before we get into it, Beryl, what is your current read, and have you acquired or found any interesting books recently?
I am currently reading A Fable for the End of the World, and it's not on me right now. It's over in my work bag because I'm reading it sometimes at work. Sometimes I'm doing homework at work. Sometimes it's reading hours. We'll see. But it's over there in that bag, and I am still waiting for the book you bought me to be delivered.
I think it said Wednesday.
Wednesday. I'm gonna have to pick it up from the mailroom on Thursday. There's no way I'm getting my mail on a Wednesday.
No, not with your Wednesday schedule.
No.
I don't think I've ever heard of A Fable at the End of the World. That sounds interesting.
A Fable for the End of the World.
A Fable for the End of the World.
It's not my normal cup of tea in the sense of it's like a cyberpunk sci-fi book, but it is gay.
Yeah, when it comes to sci-fi, I'm usually reading... I mean, I have a couple, but most of them are like Babylon 5 or Star Wars or Star Trek books. I can't really think of any sci-fi like books that I've purchased that weren't already in the vein of something that I watch already.
That's kind of the normal thing for sci-fi. Honestly, sci-fi continues to be what it is because of movies and TV. And there's a lot of good sci-fi books out there. Like Dune initially, the book is just the first thing, and there's a reason there's a movie for it now.
Yeah. It's really dry though. It is a dry book.
Yes, I have a friend who just reads it so much, and he loves it, and he admits that it's dry and really bad towards certain parts.
Yeah, I think the only one that I can think of where it's not... I haven't purchased it yet, but I really want to purchase it is... the one where the guy goes to Mars.
Oh, no. I think I know what you're saying.
And there's a princess. Yeah, I can't... The guy's name is escaping me, but it's something... John Carter! Thank you to my husband in the leather room. John Carter goes to Mars or whatever.
That was not the one about the guy going to Mars. I thought it was. You're good.
Oh, are you thinking about the one that was the Matt Damon movie?
I don't think that one either. I'm thinking of this. Let me see if I can find it real fast.
Yeah, that's the only other one. My dad's read the entire Dune series, which is interesting, because there's even, like, the Children of Dune or whatever.
How does your dad read all of these things and continues to be just who he is?
I don't know. He will probably never listen to this, so I don't have to say hi, Dad.
That's fair. I thought you were talking about A Stranger in a Strange Land, and I was about to die inside. But you are fine. Don't read A Stranger in a Strange Land.
I've never heard of that book in my entire life.
A Stranger in a Strange Land is really bad. It's one of those things where, like, it's written by a modern philosopher who is a piece of shit. Don't.
I don't know if the Robert Jordan books are classified as sci-fi or fantasy. I think they're fantasy. The Wheel of Time series. I think that one's a fantasy.
I think it's technically fantasy. There's so much crossover between sci-fi and fantasy. There's a reason why in media studies they are the same genre.
Yeah, I mean, science fiction is basically a fantasy version of how people think science is going to evolve.
Yeah, exactly. It's speculative fiction. That's what the term is in media studies.
Yeah. So you remember I told you I ordered a bunch of stuff from Barnes & Nobles because I don't have a life other than buying books. I picked up this book called Impractical Magic for the sheer fact of it talked about, perfect for fans of Gilmore Girls and Charmed, which I am a fan of neither of, but I am very interested in people who like them. I was not expecting in the ending notes of this book for the acknowledgments for it to say, "May I remind you, this is a work of fiction. Names, characters, and implications about Mandy Patinkin's marriage are products of the author's imagination."
What? Hello?
I have questions, and I did not expect to have to go into depth of reading into Mandy Patinkin's marriage whenever I get around to reading this book.
Who is Mandy Patinkin? What the fuck?
You don't know who Mandy Patinkin is?
No, not off the top of my head.
He plays Inigo in Princess Bride.
Fuck! my group project for one of my classes is to break down the Princess Bride into its story structure parts and like break down the characters and everything. I was literally looking at this man's Wikipedia article less than a week ago.
I love Mandy Patinkin. He's one of my favorite dudes to just see in movies. I don't know anything about his personal life, so there's that.
Fair.
I know he's Jewish, though.
Oh, I didn't know that. And I was reading his Wikipedia article the other day. No, I'm one of those weird
At least I'm pretty sure he's Jewish. I remember reading something about him earlier in the year.
Fair. I'm one of those creatives that knows the work more than I know the people who are part of the work, and that's really bad for somebody who is trying to be is a film creator. My teachers keep reminding me I need to say that I already am a film creator because I have made a film.
You have made movies.
Yeah.
Yes. You have made shit. You were at an award festival thingy.
I didn't win anything, but it was screened.
You didn't win it. Yeah, it was screened. Also, I did check. Yes, he is descendant of Polish Jews, actually.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yes. But anyway, Mandy Patinkin aside, let's get into the review. Okay, I do have to preface this review by giving a little backstory of my own opinions of a few things. Number one, I hate The Little Mermaid. I apologize to those who love it. And when I say Little Mermaid, I mean Disney's original animated Little Mermaid. I'm sorry if that is your favorite Disney movie. I don't like it. Ariel's annoying as shit. Eric exists.
I have some defense of The Little Mermaid here, but I'll hold my tongue.
You can defend, it's fine.
So, defense of The Little Mermaid, specifically on Eric's side of that, is that, well, first of all, the real reason she falls in love with this man isn't because he's the first human that she sees. It's because her introduction to him is that he saves his fucking dog. He jumps onto a burning ship and saves his dog.
Fair. I, too, would fall in love with a man who saved a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Not really, but, you know.
I mean...
or who avenges his dog, John Wick style.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. In defense of him even more, like, their characters do mesh very well. He is obsessed with the idea of this woman who saved him, and he is about to marry Ariel, even though she's not the woman even though he doesn't think she's the woman because she can't speak. And still, even with that, had to be magicked into marrying Ursula, faking Ariel's voice and all that jazz.
Yes. I will say, whenever we do the Twisted Tales, I'm not going to do them as a series. I mean, we'll probably do like a second season series for anyone who just wants to have that and have them into the regular seasons if we want to do that. I like what they did with that. So the second half of my preface is I love what people do with The Little Mermaid.
Okay, all right.
I never got into it. And the older I get, the more I understand Triton. I'm just like, girl, you are 5. Calm yo ass down.
You're not wrong.
To me, Eric is fine. He's a dude. To be fair, they did not give the princes that much personality unless the movie was about the prince. At least they gave him a goddamn name.
To be fair, she is The Little Mermaid is the first Renaissance film in the Disney era of Renaissance films. Wow, I said that.
I thought Beauty and the Beast was.
Nope, it's Little Mermaid.
Is that one of the classics?
No, Beauty and the Beast, it comes out after Little Mermaid. So Beauty and the Beast is 1991, and Little Mermaid is 1989.
Oh, for some reason I always thought Little Mermaid was more modern.
No.
I don't know why. I know it has Alan what's-his-name's score.
Alan
like a lot
Menken.
of the Alan Menken. Yeah. He was like the Renaissance genius of music.
So, to give credit where credit is due, Alan Menken, for the first 3 Renaissance films, did not work alone. He and his partner for writing the music and writing all that, they actually wanted to make Aladdin before they made Beauty and the Beast, and Disney told them that they had to make Beauty and the Beast before they made Aladdin. So a lot of the songs for Aladdin were inspired by what was already being written by Alan Menken and his writing partner.
It shows.
Yeah, it does. But then during Beauty and the Beast, Alan Menken's writing partner died of cancer during the production of Beauty and the Beast.
That's so sad.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You see the passion in Aladdin. That's one of my favorite musical scores is I can listen to the entire thing for Aladdin. I can't say that about the rest of the Disney movies.
Fair. It's interesting because Little Mermaid has more passion behind it than Beauty and the Beast as well.
It's the main character that I have a hard... Once she shuts up, I'm fine. I find her to be annoying. I apologize to the voice actress. She has amazing singing voice. I just don't like the character.
That's fair.
So that was my preface. That being said, this is a retelling after a fashion. You'll see why I say that, okay? So we start out with the usual opening scene. Our main Ariel character, her name is Celeste.
Beautiful. We love it.
And she's at the surface. She sees a ship and she's like, oh, and she actually ducks down because she's like, well, I can't, be seen or whatever. And her curiosity gets the better of her. So she resurfaces and she sees the prince. Now, the prince is in quotations for a reason.
Oh, boy.
And I will get there. And he's on the ship. Obviously, the traditional thing. It's his birthday. They're singing and all that stuff. There is a dog. His name is Admiral.
Cute.
As in, yes, the admiral in the Navy. Naturally, she finds him she's very intrigued by him. She is interested in the fact of, she was always told horror stories about humans, how they had, terrible claws and things like that. She is actually very disappointed they do not play instruments with their hand-like feet, because that is what she was told the feet were like.
I like that. That is a good take on mermaids seeing humans. Yeah.
She's also very interested in the fact that she can't see his teeth, but she's told, they have, sharp teeth and stuff like that. She's also very surprised to see a dog, because she has no idea what the hell it is. Yeah, and this is also the first time she's seeing humans. And so she's very intrigued by him. And then she's like, well, I gotta get the hell out of here because I'm gonna be late for class. She is not going to go do a performance. She has the initiation training class thing to join the Siren Army, basically. And it's called the Chorus. Yeah, she has more agency in this.
Definitely. I do have one question, though.
Yes.
Why is she towards the surface in the first place for this first scene?
Because she snuck out.
What was her goal in sneaking out?
She likes going to the surface because she feels very, free and stuff like that. She likes the feeling of the air on her and, floating and things.
All right.
She just likes it.
I accept that.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
I also like the feeling of floating in water. There was no real big, thing. She just wanted to get out of the house. Also, she wanted to get away. I forgot to write it down, but I remember just now. She had an argument with her mother. So there's a lot of family dynamics, shenanigans in here. I don't write all of it down in the synopsis, but we can go into detail of it. She had an argument with her mother because her mother does not think she should join the chorus. Her mother's very against it. And the big thing is, I'll spoil this a little early. I have it in my notes later, but I'll say this now. One of the things I really like is how the family treats her as someone who is neurodivergent and had a very interesting childhood growing up. It is something that I can identify with, not just on a personal level, but having seen it happen to my other sibling. They constantly compare her to being human. They constantly complain that she's too human because she's too emotional, because she actually shows emotions. One of the things she does is they get pissed off that she cries because sirens are not supposed to have emotion, basically, in this.
Okay. I like this. I like the representation.
Yeah, so that was something that was very interesting. And anytime that she has basically any sort of disagreement with her mother, her emotions start coming up. So anytime she has her emotions come up, she starts battering herself and being like, why can't I control this? Why am I so weak? Why am I too human? Stuff like that. So she is leaving the surface and stuff. She's and then she sees this little baby sea turtle, and she feels a disturbance in the water, and the shark is going to eat the baby sea turtle. So she's like, well, I'm going to save the baby sea turtle. And she ends up using her song on the shark to get it to stop trying to not only kill her, but also the baby sea turtle that is now in her possession. And she comments on how the magic is wrong in a way. So not only does it kind of do something it's not supposed to, in the fact of she kind of loses control over it, but it still works, it lasts too long. And it not just affects the shark, it also affects the turtle.
Okay.
Without her meaning to. So,
may I put forward a theory here?
You can.
She's not fully siren, is she?
I'll get to that later. It's a bit of an interesting thing. So it lasts too long, like I said. She gets back to Staria, which is, the kingdom. And she's late to class, and the teacher, she actually runs into her mom and dad on the way. Her dad's, like, all armored up in, like, fancy royal armor shit. And her mom is, like, chastising her for being late and stuff. But she gets to class, and her dad actually walks into class, which is why she's like, well, maybe that's why the teacher didn't kick me out of even being in class, was because my dad was showing up. They are given their official initiation task, which is they are to attack the ship and kill the prince, who is the son of King Leonidas. I hope I said that right. And he is like their main enemy. The King Leonidas actually killed her grandmother.
Oh, so it's a retaliation situation.
Kind of.
Kind of?
Kind of. It's a bit weird. So there's this whole thing about sirens and humans are enemies. Not only are the humans not supposed to know that sirens exist, which is a bit weird, like they're not supposed to know sirens exist at all, but somehow they're also enemies. The story that she knows is they're enemies because the Sun King or Prince or whoever killed the moon goddess Siren, basically. And that's what started them being enemies. She goes to prepare for this big fight thing. They're paired up. So she's paired with like one of the main generals. His name was Echo. She has a fight with her mom and she gets all emotional. And the mom's like, you know what? She's like, I know you went to the surface earlier, by the way, just FYI. And her mom refuses to answer questions about the humans. Like, she's wondering, why are we attacking them? What's the big deal? What's going on? And the mom just refuses, just shuts down all the questions. And then is like, you know what? You're not ready. You are too much like a human. Bans her from the surface and from joining the chorus. She's like, you're not going. I refuse.
So, is she a princess?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Her mom's the queen. I probably should have said that.
You're good.
So yeah, she's just like banned. The mom's like, no, you're not allowed. She sneaks out and goes anyway. And apparently her mom did not tell the goddamn army she wasn't allowed to go, because no one questions her showing up.
Oh, God.
No one questions her showing up. They're just like, oh yeah, she's there. Not even the guy she's paired with questions anything.
Well, this is the real reason why the humans and sirens can't get along. It's the fact that the Siren Queen is a dumbass.
Yeah. So they begin their attack on the ship, and they waited till nighttime, by the way, so that the humans couldn't see them or expect it. So the crew succumbs to, the siren song, but not the prince. The prince does not fall under the siren's magic. And he actually goes and tries to, save the crew from, jumping overboard. However, when his bestie, Bastion, jumps overboard, he's like, well, I'm gonna save my friend, obviously, and just dives in after the man. No weapons or nothing. And you're laughing.
It's just, who needs to actually kill you? Like, you need to kill somebody. You don't actually need to kill that person. You just need to, kill their loved ones and make them become a sheep that way.
I mean, fair. So Celeste this entire time has not been singing because she's in shock. She is horrified by, what's happening to the humans. She's actually questioning, how can they be evil? She actually wonders if the sirens are the ones in the wrong because the humans haven't done anything. She's like, we're killing them for no reason. Not fair, you know. They literally weren't doing shit. So she decides, yeah, I'm gonna save the prince. She gets into a fight with her own generals. And it is noted that she's really good at using her surroundings when fighting an enemy. So that's kind of what she does. She saves Bastion and the prince, gets them to the other side of the ship. And then she goes back because she's like, well, what about the dog? It didn't succumb to the magic because they weren't targeting it. Stuff like that. So she goes back to save the dog. She sees the absolute bloodbath that is dead humans everywhere. And then obviously the chorus goes after them because they're like, you're a traitor. That guy's supposed to be dead. What the fuck you doing, mate? And so at one point, Echo actually tells her to calm down. Bad idea, because, you know, she's all emotional and stuff like that. She just screams. Okay. Using her song as she screams. The entire army knocked out.
Let's go. Honestly, first of all, Echo, never tell a woman to calm down. Never tell a normal person who's going through a very hard time, anybody, whether they're woman, man, non-binary, whatever, to calm the fuck down.
Right.
Second of all, we love a screaming queen. Sometimes, Sailor Moon taught me as a kid, sometimes you just need to fucking scream.
Also, like, sometimes you just need to cry it out. Let's be real here.
Oh, yeah.
She actually I think she has so much power that she actually passes out for a bit. She wakes back up. Everyone's still knocked out. The prince is looking at her like, what the fuck am I doing now? Like, what's happening? He's worried she's gonna just murder him, obviously. So she takes the prince and Bastion to their port, which is called Port Veluno, by the way. Mm-hmm. She waits and sees that, you know, Bastion wakes up and all that before she leaves. They actually, like, pass out on the beach because they're, you know, tired as shit. And then she goes back home to face the consequences of her actions. Which, I mean, fair.
Girl, just run away. You know what they're gonna feel like.
I would have just fucked off.
Yeah.
There is a small thing to note is... She talks about people who've gotten, like, excommunicated before. One of the things of note is her sister was actually sent away to be married. She has two sisters. She has Safina, who's the one that was sent away, and I don't remember the other one because they're not important at all.
Okay. Perfect.
So, she wakes up in a cell, because obviously they're like, you're a traitor. She wakes up to see her mother, and her mom is like, all teary-eyed and, like, very upset. And she's like, so, yeah, you're probably gonna be executed. However, I'm gonna break you out. I'm gonna send you on a mission. And you're gonna go kill the prince, bring back his head, and hopefully they change their mind about executing you.
Girl, aren't you the queen?
This is apparently like your English monarchy where there's the queen, and then there's, like, this whole, like... gaggle of guys who, like, make decisions and shit. I don't know.
So that is called the House of Nobles.
Yeah, there's basically, like, a trial jury system. There's, like, the president and then the judges.
Yeah,
basically.
It's parliament. It's a parliament system.
Yeah, it's basically parliament. I don't remember what they call it.
Okay.
It comes up once.
Great. Perfect.
Partially because she, you know, is not in Staria for most of the book.
That makes sense.
So, her dad brings her armor and her trident, and her mom's like, alright, go on, figure your shit out. So she goes to see the Sea Witch. Mind you, this is not our amazing Ursula character who's a drag queen, okay? She's just a Sea Witch. They make a deal. Notable things here. The exchange is, yeah, I'll give you a human form. You're gonna do me a favor later.
Okay.
And Celeste is like, okay, it's nothing that will harm my people. And a couple other things that aren't really important. And she gets to keep her voice. And she keeps her magic. So she can talk.
Incredibly interesting. Absolutely to compare it to the original tale by Hans Christian Andersen. The Sea Witch in the original tale is literally just a witch who is she is a mortal soul who knows how to control magic very well and is thus wise. So instead of being any kind of villain character with an ulterior motive, she is just the wise old person in the story. And the deal that she makes is the best deal she can give her, where she can give the Little Mermaid the physical form of a human, but at the cost of her voice and the horrible pain in her legs. And that's just the best she can do.
Yeah, so in this version, she is... Basically, she was doing some magic-y stuff that the people didn't like, and that's why she was sent away, basically.
Okay.
is from what I remember. And one of the things that she was told as a kid is even the fact that she can give people human limbs and shit like that. So the lady drops her off on a beach. Not the same port that she left the prince at, just a random beach. It was like, all right, figure it out. Good luck.
Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah. So she's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Mind you, she's naked, bottom down. Okay? So she's trying to figure out how the fuck to walk.
Yeah.
She's even, like, she's stumbling. She can't get these legs to work. She eventually, like, uses a rock face to try and walk. She does it a little okay. A guard finds her.
Oh, no, she's half naked. She's basically naked.
The guard thinks she's a prostitute. And when she can't walk properly, thinks she's drunk, and just hauls her ass to prison.
Honestly, semi-reasonable.
Yeah. However, the guard is very not nice. He's leaving bruises on her. He throws her to the ground and tells her to change. She doesn't understand what's going on. He actually cuts her armor off of her. Like, just rips it off of her, and it points to a pile of clothes and is like, get dressed. So she puts on basically pants. She likes the swishiness of pants. She's traumatized. Girl hates humans. She is traumatized.
Honestly, yeah. Like, something ACAB in this moment.
Like, I thought there was about to be a non-consensual scene here. There was not. This is not a spicy book, by the way. In the slightest. There's nothing.
Good.
She ends up in the cell with another girl. Her name is Kiyami. And Kiyami is the best. She's, like, talking to her, realizes she can't speak, things like that, does yes or no questions, actually figures out what her name is by being like, okay, what does your name, like, look like, basically? So she, like, does the alphabet to figure out what her name is, stuff like that. They are given food, but she's like, I don't trust shit. I don't know. So Celeste does not eat. So then in the morning, they hear this kerfuffle of the guards and stuff. They're getting the shit beat out of them. And who shows up but the prince and Bastion? And the prince sees Celeste and instantly recognizes her.
Yeah.
He knows exactly who the hell she is. He's confused because she can't speak. Because he heard her speak before. So he's a bit confused by that, but he knows exactly what and who she is, okay? There is no Prince Eric doesn't know who the hell he's looking at. But he's there for Kiyami. And he's like, yeah, Kiyami, I want you to join my crew. And Kiyami's like, bruh, fuck you.
Oh.
But he convinces her by basically being like, gold and shit like that, you know, basically treasures beyond your wildest belief. You'll be able to take care of your family, things like that. He even is like, Celeste, you gonna come too? Like, obviously I'm not leaving you here. I know what you are. Hell no. But Bastion's like, we don't know who she is or what she can do. I don't give a shit that she saved our asses. I don't know anything about her. Like, why should we take her on? She's just gonna be, you know, dead weight. But they see the jacket that she happened to have on. The jacket she has on is a Wayfinder's jacket, which is basically like top tier navigation guild. And Celeste just plays along. She's like, yeah, I'm a Wayfinder. Yeah. And so Bastion's like, perfect, we have our navigator. But Celeste is like, I don't want anything to do with you. Prince boy. No. She is like, yeah, he might be, you know, somewhat attractive physically the first time I met him, but I hate him. The second he opens his mouth, she hates it because he is cocky as shit. And actually flirts with her. I should note at this point. So, the prince in this book is less Prince Eric and more Killian Jones from Once Upon a Time vibes. Okay? So, very flirtatious. I don't actually go into detail about how well the relationship works in this. It works really well. This is a pretty good scene that starts out that, because the guards wake up. Because they didn't kill the guards, they just knocked them out. Celeste, you know, goes to leave. Her legs collapse because, again, she can't fucking walk very well. Mm-hmm. So he scoops her up bridal style and is, like, carrying her out. However, one of the guard from before that, you know, traumatized the shit out of her and left bruises all over her, she reacts negatively, like, curls into him, and he immediately is like, all right, then. And just is like, you know, we should have done what I wanted to begin with, and just starts shooting guards in the knee. So that they can't follow them.
Okay. Based behavior.
So, And there's also a note where when she agrees to be their navigator, they shake hands. And one of the things is she comments on sirens only hold hands when they're intimate.
Oh.
So she notices having felt a spark at that moment as well. So there's that. So they, escape the guards. They end up hiding out in a pub. They get the rest of their crew. People of note are Torben, who is the gunner, and Nashir, who is Torben's husband, who is the cook/surgeon.
Okay.
You also find out that Raiden stole the ship that he has. Raiden is the prince, by the way.
Great.
Yeah, he stole the ship from the pirate queen.
Oh my god. This man has a death wish.
He does.
Holy shit.
Raiden, obviously, he flirts with Celeste. He seems to know what she's feeling and thinking, by the way, so that's one thing that happens multiple times. He reads her like an open book, except for the fact that she wants to kill him, apparently. But he also tells her, yeah, if you harm any of the crew, I will kill you, mate. Like, I'm keeping an eye on you. I want to know why the hell you're here.
Okay.
Boy, suspicious. Rightfully so.
Suspicious but flirtatious.
Yes. Fair. That was one thing that I noted is, as someone who adores banter, and for some reason, like, you remember the guy in college, right?
Oh god, yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah.
As someone who is attracted to someone that frustrates the fuck out of them, I understand the attraction to Raiden in this book, okay? He's also really well written. Oh my god, English. He is very well written. Okay. Also, side note for originality, he does not have dimples.
Yo.
He has a mole.
Okay, I appreciate it. Like, I've been reading a lot of books with moles lately, and as somebody who has some like, not obvious, but no, they're there, moles, I appreciate it.
Yeah. My husband has some. I was born with one. I don't find them necessarily attractive, but maybe to sirens they're interesting. I don't know. People are attracted to dimples nowadays, I guess.
But my thing is that moles are so common, whereas dimples are just like...
They are.
And, like, dimples are just extra folds in your faces. I don't understand that. Moles are like, hell yeah, a mole in a cute place is adorable. I get it.
Yeah. One of the things that's commented on is how it upticks when he smiles, for example.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah. They end up, they get to the ship. He actually wakes her up because she sleeps in. It's commented that he tried to wake her up earlier, but she attacked him in his sleep.
Okay. All right.
Because she was having nightmares.
Aww.
Because of the guard and stuff like that. So, like, and he realizes that she's in the same thing that she wore the night before. And he's just like, if you need someone to help you change. Like I said, the flirtation and banter is very well written.
Give me a girl who talks to me like that.
I actually texted my husband and was like, I understand the appeal of Raiden in this book. But as someone who is attracted to pirates, and, I watched Once Upon a Time for Killian Jones, okay? I get it. I actually saw a bunch of books advertised as having male characters like him, by the way.
Perfect. I'm gay and I understand the attraction to Killian Jones.
See? Everyone understands the attraction. To be fair, side tangent. Colin O'Dew is hilarious as an actor. He's a really shy guy, like absolute just like introverted dude. And he was interviewed talking about, the role of Killian, because he's not at all like Killian is. One of the things he commented on is the big way that he portrayed him was having it so that he on purposely like looked up through the eyelashes, because then people would have to look him down to look him in the eye. And that was his big thing, was the charisma and the eye contact that he had.
Yep. It's almost as though 90% of people look better from above than below. 90%.
Well, because the big thing is he's taller than most people. So him looking down while doing that is also the big thing.
That makes sense. All right.
Anyway, so they get to the ship. The ship's name is Revenge, obviously. So Celeste's room, one of the big things that she had was she had to have her own room. She did not want to she didn't want to be with the rest of the crew. She wanted her own room. She didn't want to be stuck with a bunch of, humans. Fair. So her room is actually next to Raiden's, and it's less a room, more of like a cupboard.
That's what she
because,
did.
Yeah.
That's what you get when you like. I get it, humans suck, but like if it's a ship and you want your own room, better expect it covered.
Well, he also does not trust her at all, is the other thing. So she finds some new clothes in there. Side note, obviously these clothes are from the Pirate Queen. So she puts on a dress this time. Yes, it comes back in later. I know that face. And Raiden sees her in, like, dress. I'm imagining it is, like, Renaissance wench dress. That's just my opinion. He's obviously attracted to her, but does not say it. Like, if this was a movie, there would be, like, the music,
Yeah.
You know what music I'm talking about.
The fantasy overture.
Yes. So Raiden accepts her navigation advice en route, and her knowledge of having lived in the goddamn sea comes in handy, obviously. So she's able to navigate them really well. She avoids rocks and shallows and stuff. Kiyame is the person at the helm, so she's basically next to Kiyame the whole time. And so, I don't remember how many days later, but they eventually come across a cargo ship. Raiden's like, yeah, well, we might as well introduce ourselves. Let's board them, guys. So Torben is very excited, because he's the gunner. He gives Celeste some weapons to defend herself. She is excited about this, because she does not have any. Her trident was taken away from her when she was arrested by a guard who thought she was a prostitute.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So she has some difficulty fighting with a sword, but she's able to, still think on her feet and use her surroundings. At one point, she actually gets, unarmed. She kicks the guy in the crotch.
Perfect. Iconic.
Which she does not know that is just a guy thing, by the way.
Oh, no.
And at this point, Raiden comments on how she makes a much better pirate than he thought she would. To which she's like, excuse me? Wait a minute. I'm with a bunch of pirates?
Wait, okay, I have to ask the question. He's a prince, right? Oh, God.
That's what I was about to get to. He is the prince of pirates.
He's the pirate prince. He stole his mom. Oh, my God.
So, no, he did not steal his mom's ship. I will get into that. So, he is the prince of pirates. His dad is the king of pirates. He's not, like, actual royalty. The pirate queen used to be, like, the first mate of his dad. However, she then held a mutiny against him and just labeled herself the pirate queen.
All right, we love a gaslight cake, cute girl boss babe.
Yeah, so Celeste now realizes she's with a bunch of pirates. I also love that it took you a minute to get there.
Yeah, I was considering earlier why they were fighting the guards. It makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah. They also weren't in their main city. But hence why I said he's more Killian Jones Captain Hook than Prince Eric.
Yeah, okay.
So the crew, because he just got a ragtag group of people, are not really able to work together very well. They end up surrounded. And the captain of the cargo ship basically just has Celeste at knife point, like knife to throat, like going to cut her throat shit. And is like, leave my ship and I'll let her go. And Raiden's like, hey, mate, we can be reasonable, mate. Because he's stalling for time for Torben to get back on their ship and fire on their ship, which is what happens. So then she headbutts the guy. He lets her go. They end up, basically starting to sink the ship. So they end up, getting the upper hand. And Raiden's gonna kill the guy, but sees the look on Celeste's face and just knocks him out instead. Not a good idea, because as they're, scouring the ship for anything that might be worth taking, the guy wakes back up.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know how long it takes for people to, wake up from being knocked out. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just gonna go with it. The captain shoots Raiden. As the ship is sinking. So he shoots him, like, in between the joint where, like, the shoulder and stuff is. Right there. It goes clean through. Raiden, falls into the sea as the ship's capsizing. She dives in after him before the guy can shoot her. So she ends up having to save Raiden again. Not only from, drowning, but also a shark that tries to eat him.
Great. And
she actually uses the shark to propel her to the surface. Because she can't really swim well. She's got little feeties.
Also, she's wearing a dress.
Yeah, she's also wearing a dress.
Yeah.
So they end up getting pulled onto the Revenge. And Bastian's doing CPR on Raiden, and the surgeon's, trying to stop the bleeding. She's actually tearing up because she's like, oh my god, he's, gonna be dead. He, obviously lives. He coughs up water, actually smirks at her, and just says, my hero, before he passes the fuck out.
All right.
Later, they're having dinner or whatever. Raiden's told, he can't use his arm, so he's got to go rest up in the captain's quarters. So she found a letter on the ship that had his father's stamp on it. And Bastian's like, yeah, Raiden needs to see this, who's going to go take it? And she's like, oh, I'll take it. So she's, hippity-hoppity walking along. She starts thinking about the day. She's overwhelmed with emotions. She's like, I'll show it to him tomorrow, because she's starting to cry. She goes into her room. She crying. Raiden hears her crying because, a thin goddamn wall's on a ship.
Naturally.
He decides, what I'm going to do? I'm going to knock on the goddamn wall. So starts their cute knocking on wall things to communicate, I guess, because it happens more than once.
That's kind of adorable.
She goes into his room. He actually, thanks her for saving his ass again. This is like time number 2?
Yes.
3?
2?
Yeah, this is number 2. And he mentions that he was actually really worried about their crew and the fact that they got surrounded. Because he's like, yeah, they're, untrained and all that shit. She shows him the letter. Apparently there was a bunch of furniture on said ship. That was the main cargo, was his dad's furniture, which will come back later. And so she goes back to her room. She's still fucking bawling because she's homesick. She feels like she's too weak, because people are worrying about her. Right before she went to go see Raiden, Kiyame asked if she was okay. That's part of why she was bawling her eyes out. So she feels weak and useless. So he sends the Admiral to her room to go comfort her.
Aww.
So yeah,
time.
she gets to sleep with the dog. And it's the best night of sleep she's ever had.
Good.
So far. So Raiden's absence due to, having to rest his poor little captain self, it's making everything feel off to her. It's wrong. She's used to his flirtations and snarky cockiness. And because she's feeling like she can't protect herself properly, she asks Kiyame to teach her sword fighting. And so she starts training. She's doing really well, learning the footwork. At one point, the cook, Nasir, realizes she can't read and offers to teach her. They begin right away. She's excited as hell about learning how to read the human language, because she can speak it, but she can't read it.
Yeah.
And so she's on her way back to the room after teaching lessons with Nasir, because she had dish duty. That's why she was even there. And she overhears Bastian and Raiden talking about how they're going to this sacred island of the moon goddess. And that's why they have to be there at the eclipse, because it only shows up at the eclipse. And she's like, the fuck does he think he can get there for? It's like a myth, it's a legend. And so now she's like, okay, I can actually kill him now, because I know what the hell's going on. I know what he's up to. And I obviously can't let him get to the sacred island of the sirens. So they reluctantly have to stop to get water, because their water storages got injured in said battle with the cargo ship.
Yeah.
Because naturally, the cargo ship fired cannons back.
Yeah.
And Raiden is not happy with this. And so he asks Celeste, can we make up the time that's lost? What port should we stop in? He's surprised Nashir is teaching her to read and write and stuff like that. And he can also tell that something's bothering her, but he doesn't know what it is. Like, he even asks her. And obviously it's the fact that she has to kill him. So she tries to kill him that night.
Oh no. Oh no.
So she goes to his room.
Oh no.
He's not there.
Okay.
So she she goes up to the deck. The night crew is on the deck because, there's a day crew and a night crew for ships. He's sitting on the bow of the ship drinking. And she's like, well, shit, now I can't kill him. No, I'm not happy about that at all. But no, oh no, how dare I be happy? I can't kill him yet. So she joins him as he's drinking on the bow of the ship. And they start talking. They have cute conversations about stars and shit. And he teaches her to play the game War and Bones, which is a card game. After doing the initial, teaching her how to play, he's like, all right, let's play for a wager. And I was very curious what the wager was going to be at first. And he wagers for a favor. Whoever wins gets a favor from the other. So he pretends to have a bad hand, which makes her feel very cocky about her hand, and he obviously wins, pirate. And he even comments on how it's really fun to, like, rile her up and stuff like that. And so now he has a favor from her. However, it is mentioned that is a favor she is actually able to do. That was one of the big things. So they continue to sit and they chat. She actually decides to try wine after losing. She figures out she enjoys it. And, like, there was this big thing about wine making people go fuzzy and shit.
Is this a young adult book?
Yes.
Damn, okay.
I'm pretty sure. I think this is a young adult book. There's no spice in it, by the way.
I'm not used to young adult books. You can have adult books that don't have any spice in it. I'm not used to young adult books positively talking about alcohol.
Yes, young adult fiction.
Okay, alright.
So, they sit, they chat. She ends up leaning up against him because she finds him nice and warm and cozy. She ends up enjoying it. She falls asleep with her head on his shoulder. Very cute. She wakes up in her room.
Good man.
Yes. She finds at this point, she's starting to really like the crew. And she's like, I'm actually going to miss them when I go home. She also enjoys being on the ship. They're still on their way to the port that they're going to get water. Kiyame wants her to spar now. Actually have a sparring partner. Because she's like, well, if I can watch you spar with someone, I can judge how you're doing better. Raiden ends up being her sparring partner after they make sure it's okay with the surgeon. Because he offers, actually.
Okay, alright.
So begins the adorable sparring session. It starts out slow, and then he starts testing her and stuff like that. And they go around and they spar for a while. And by the end of it, she's really enjoying sparring with him. She actually comments on how he was the perfect partner because he knew when to test her and things like that. I'm skipping a lot of this, by the way.
That's fine.
So they get to Port Valuna for supplies. There's a festival happening. It's some sort of, like, midsummer festival or whatever. So some girls are, like, flirting with Raiden as, they're making port for the ship. And Raiden comments to her and says, don't worry, love, I'm all yours for the day. Which is how she finds out. The crew paired her with Raiden to go get supplies. Like, people paired up, and they put her with Raiden.
The crew is shipping on a ship, and they are going
hardcore.
We love them.
They can tell there's chemistry there. So, they're going around. He actually is, like, talking to her about stuff. At one point, she sees a constable. She actually, like, partially runs into him, if I remember correctly. And she goes to, like, pull her knife from where it's hiding in her skirt dresses. And Raiden grabs her hand and is like, no, don't fucking dare. Which causes the guard to think that he's bothering her.
No.
So Raiden tries to pass this off and is like, you're not going to separate a wife from her husband on this day of festivities. And the guard's like, bruh, I don't believe you. So Celeste earlier had seen a couple kissing, and she's like, as a last-ditch effort, she kisses him straight on the mouth. To which the guard now actually believes it. And she's surprised when Raiden kisses her back. So then the guard leaves, and Raiden's like, that's not how I expected our first kiss to go.
Okay, but why did you kiss her back? Well, I guess it's to get the guard to leave. Yeah, okay, fine.
I think you just missed what I just said.
Okay, then please. Guard leaves and then he kisses her back?
He tells her. He does kiss her back, but after the guard leaves, he says, that's not how I imagined our first kiss.
Yeah. I mean, that's sexy as fuck. I'm just like, man, why'd you have to kiss her back?
I guess because as someone, I automatically kiss people back if they're kissing me on the mouth. Like, that is a problem I have. Because it's just what my mouth does. Don't stare at me like that. Don't give me that look, Beryl.
I have absolutely had people try to kiss me without my consent, and my immediate response was to not kiss them back, but to slap them.
Fair. One of the major instances I had was in college, but Fireball was involved.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, I just have an instinct of as soon as somebody tries being physically flirtatious with me and I don't want it, I physically beat them up, and I'm not lying about the physically beating them up part. You
have a way better fight or flight response than I do. I'm a fawner. I immediately fawn. Fair. I'm learning to be a fighter, which is nice. So, they're chit-chatting about, things. They're interrupted by the Pirate Queen, who clearly wants her shit back.
Sorry, Mom. I just need to impress this girl really fast.
Remember, not his mom.
Fair.
We have no idea who his mom is. We don't know. It is never stated who the fuck his mom is.
Interesting.
For all we know, they're related. I don't know.
Ugh.
So, Raiden's like, aight, peace, I'm not gonna deal with this right now. They run the fuck away, to which delights the gunner. He actually laughs at Raiden about it. And he's like, look, we need to hide the ship, and we'll leave at nightfall when she's less likely to see us leave. Perfect, we'll enjoy the festivities, I guess. So, yeah.
Men.
So, more like guy who is, I'll get into it a bit later. So, Celeste and Kiyomi join the dancing. They're enjoying themselves. Kiyomi mentions about having to tell her sister about this person she knows who's a great dancer after this mission's over. A slow dance starts to come on. She had already made eye contact with Raiden earlier. He is walking towards her through the crowd. The eyebrows.
They're very expressive.
The eyebrow raising you just did.
Yeah.
So he's walking towards her through the crowd. You know, for this slow dancing thing. She gets fucking kidnapped by the pirate queen. Obviously he tries to save her, and that doesn't happen. They unbag her later, because they literally bagnapped her.
Damn.
And the pirate queen is like, hey, you take me to where my fucking ship is, I let you live. To which Celeste agrees after she tried to kick the lady in her non-existent balls.
Okay, but it's still not fun to get kicked down there. It's just not as bad.
No, it's not.
I say that as though it's... Anyways, we don't need to talk about my anatomy.
So she does agree, and she's stalling for time. And the crew obviously come and rescue her. Raiden actually runs the opposite way to, get some of the henchmen to follow him so the rest of the crew can save her. Celeste is aghast by this and wants to go after him, to which Kiyomi is like, nah, bruh, let's go. You can save your boyfriend later. So they get to the docks. She actually does run back for Raiden at this point because she sees him and Torben getting, tackled by guards. And so Torben's like, bruh, what the fuck are you doing? And Raiden, gets free of the guards and stuff. And it's like, why the fuck isn't she on the ship? And Torben's like, she was coming after you. To which he smiles. And then they escape.
Yes, just smiles.
I'm skipping over some stuff. It's fine.
It's fine, yeah.
Go read the book if you want the fine details.
Yep.
They meet up in the navigation room, and this is when we figure out that, because he tells her this, his father sent him on this mission as basically this is essentially his punishment. Him and his father basically fully believe he's on a suicide mission right now because he fucked up at some earlier area mission thing and lost the ship and his crew, basically. So he still has some PTSD from all of that. And that's why he's so worried about this crew and this ship. So this is basically, he's trying to earn his father's forgiveness at this point. His dad is a piece of shit, let's be honest here. So she is reluctant, but shows him this current that they can use to make up for all the lost time that they have had. And he's like, perfect, this is great. But it's also on the edge of the siren territory.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So they reach the current. It is a stormy. There is, wind, rain. Yeah. So the ship is really jolty. He actually holds on to her to sort of steady her. So the ship, hits the current. There's a little wakey thing. And it steadies out. It's great. However, I believe if I remember correctly, a wave hits. And Nashir goes overboard.
Oh.
So Raiden is like, Torben, you're not going after your husband. You're a small little guy. You can't swim anyway. He's like taking his stuff off. He dives in afterwards. There's a tense moment. They get pulled back up. She's been worried as shit this whole time, obviously. And they actually hug because she's very happy that, he's not dead. For someone who is supposed to kill him, she's very happy he's alive.
Yeah.
Hint, hint. Days later, they get to the end of the current thingy they're supposed to be at. However, there's a bend at the end of this current. So the ship begins to capsize. Not great. And so Raiden's like, everyone abandon the ship. And Celeste is like, well, what are you still doing here then? Navigating and shit. And He's like, no, I'm going down with the ship this time. And she's like, no, hello, no, you're not. So she starts thinking, like, maybe I can use, my magic to, charm him to leave the ship, but then he's gonna be mad at me. And Raiden's like, bruh, no, you gotta just let me go. Like, go. Save yourself. And this is when she realizes she's fallen in love with him. Fair.
Wow, who could have guessed?
The tone you just gave. So right before, the ship starts to capsize, a giant wave hits it from the port side, and the ship just rights itself. And he's like, did you do that? And she's like, no, the only person who could do that would be, like, the goddess herself. No, I didn't do that shit.
Uh-huh, hint, hint.
Mm-hmm. So the crews celebrate, they're singing and dancing because they fucking lived a capsizing ship. She actually dances with Raiden, and she thinks again about, having fallen in love with this guy. And he actually comments on how her smile outshines the stars. They keep having the stars motif.
Oh, no.
Yes?
I see what's happening here.
I want you to tell me what you see is happening here.
She is the goddess. The moon goddess.
Kind of.
Is she the moon goddess?
I'll get there. But yeah, there is a stars motif going on. So she ends up going down to go get more ale and shit for the crew. Because she's like, this stuff is disgusting. She actually had tossed them overboard. She's like, no, I prefer wine. Raiden actually follows her down there. And he kisses her. I believe she actually kisses him back. And so they separate, and she's so fucking shocked that she actually speaks. She's like, you kissed me. Right as he's about to say, that's how I expected our first kiss to go. She's like, you kissed me. He's like, you can fucking talk?
What a reveal.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah. He's like, why didn't you fucking talk before? And she's like, I didn't want you to hear my accent. And he's like, well, now I have, and it's my favorite fucking sound. Regardless. That was a stupid fucking reason for not telling me you can talk.
What silliness is this?
Yeah. So she swears him to secret. She's like, you can't tell any of the rest of the crew that I can talk. And he's like, okay, you're clearly uncomfortable with, me owing you a secret. Not that he doesn't already have one on her anyway. So he actually tells her one of his big secrets, and that is oh, that's right, they do say something about his mom. His big secret is he believes his dad is responsible for his mom's death. Because basically, if I remember correctly, his mom died in poverty with him because, his dad was doing whatever his dad was doing, basically.
His dad was doing piece of shit things, yep.
Yeah. So they, continue with the adorable kissingness. And Kiyame comes down and is like, so this is what's taking the drink so long. To which the rest of the crew is, whining about who won or lost bets on when they would finally get together.
Perfect.
And so Kiyame's like, nah, you two being together makes sense. Raiden doesn't look at anyone else the way he looks at you. However, Bastion ain't happy. Bastion pissed, for reasons.
Sinister or heartbroken is the real question there.
Sinister.
Great.
He angry.
Mm-hmm.
He angry. So the party concludes. Raiden and Celeste stay up talking and, kissing more. They talk about her family and stuff like that. She comments on how he's not the villain she was told he was, and even comments on how he is not his father, which is probably something he needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
She wakes up the next day in Raiden's room, by the way. As I said, there's no spice, but you can, assume if you want. There's no, fade to black or anything. So she goes looking for Raiden. She can't find him. She actually eventually goes into the hold of the ship and finds her best friend Maeve is in a cell in the cargo hold.
From the Siren?
Yes, from the Siren Kingdom. Her best friend was Maeve. She's kind of a side note in this story. She's in the cargo hold, half alive. She's been there for days. And so she screams. Raiden, hears her scream and goes down there. And she's like, how long has she been here? And he's like, a few days. We found her a few days into, the whole current thing. And she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, well, we couldn't let her go. She would go tell the Sirens. And so they argue. And Bastion's is like, yeah, I know what you are. She's like, you told him? And he's like, yeah, obviously. Like, yeah, and that's why Bastion's not happy, is because he knows what she is.
Okay, that's fair.
The rest of the crew, hearing all the kerfuffle, come down, realize she can fucking talk, and it's also, alluded to about, this whole thing being a suicide mission, which pisses off the rest of the crew. Rightly so. And if I don't remember if she ends up being overcome with emotion and using her magic and knocking people out. I think she does, briefly. But she just picks up Maeve and just walks topside of the ship, Raiden not being happy about this, and, arguing with her, and just chucks Maeve overboard so that, Maeve doesn't die. And then she tries to go overboard herself, and Raiden, tackles her to the ground and has her put in a cell.
I don't blame Raiden for anything here other than the suicide mission.
And, maybe putting someone in a cell.
No.
But, I mean, yeah, knowing that, Sirens could just completely murder his entire crew for the second time.
Yeah.
Fair.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Both of their characters make sense in this moment, and I appreciate that.
Yes. That was one thing that I really liked, is the third act breakup, you understand it really well.
Mm-hmm.
This is also the point where she believes that nothing between them was real. She believes that he was using her this whole time, even though he's like, I never expected anything between us to happen, but it did. The next day, Kiyame is a bro and breaks Celeste out, and Raiden finds them as she's about to, jump overboard, and he tries to call in his favor to get her to stay, and she's like, that's not something I have that's in my power, and just dives into the water.
Damn power move. Let's go.
And he's calling out after her still. She can't tell what he's saying though, and her plan at this moment is, I'm gonna beat them to the island. I'm gonna find the voice of the ocean, which is what they're looking for, is the voice of the ocean, which they believe is a myth. By the way, she's like, no, it was lost for centuries, but, she also believes the crew fucking hates her now, but that's another story. So, in her distress and emotion, she sings a song, and summons a hippocampus. And this hippocampus she's like, alright, take me. And, they ride off into the sunset. So she makes it to the island. She finds her sister Sephany there.
The one that was married off. The sister that was
supposed... Yes, the one that was supposed to be married off. Turns out she was not sent to get married off. She's the voice of the ocean, and she was sent to the island to perform a ritual that gives the sirens their power.
Wait, how often does this ritual have to happen?
I don't know. All I know is she's the voice of the ocean. So the entire time, Raiden thinks he's going after some, object. He's going after a goddamn siren.
That sucks.
Yeah, so they argue about humans and stuff, and the sister, this is supposed to be her favorite sister, by the way. The sister is like, oh, Mother was right, you're too soft-hearted.
Fuck you.
Like a bitch. Yeah, we hate Sephany.
Yeah.
So the sea witch appears, and she's like, hey, by the way, there's, humans, coming, they're about 5 feet from here, and the sea witch is and the only thing Celeste is wondering is, you have legs? And she's like, yes, dear, keep up, human.
If she can do it to you, she can do it to herself.
That is my summarizing of what happens between them.
Okay.
So Raiden and the crew show up. When I say the crew, I mean the main four we've talked about, which is Bastion, Kiyame, Nishir, and Torben. And who also shows up, but some of his father's men. Odd, considering Raiden was not with them.
Very.
Tick number 3. So Raiden is aghast to hear that this entire time he's after a goddamn living creature. Kiyame, Torben, and Nishir help fight Raiden and the King's men. They're on the side of Celeste. Kiyame actually gets injured at one point. And so in her fight with Raiden, she grabs onto a trident that a statue is holding. And it starts glowing. And the Sea Witch is like, oh, okay, it's been claimed. She's like, excuse me? And she finds out that only someone touched by the goddess, like her sister, can touch this trident. So she is basically in the same position as her sister, who's doing the voice of the ocean ritual, right? Meow.
Excellent. There's a replacement. That's a terrifying thing.
Yes. So she ends up, she gets Raiden pinned. Her sister finishes the ceremony. And at this point, the Sea Witch, does an Uno reverse. She has a knife to Sephane's throat. She's like, yeah, I've been on the side of the king this whole time. He didn't think Raiden was going to be able to make it here, so he sent me to be able to go do this. Because, joke's on you, only the descendant of the goddess or her lover can actually show up on this island. Hence why Raiden was able to show up on this island, because lover of Celeste. And she is a descendant of the goddess.
Yep.
So, Celeste also has the power and is a descendant. However, this is when we find out Raiden is a descendant of the Sun Prince.
Could have seen that
who was the moon goddess's lover. Yeah. And basically, the Sea Witch hints at them essentially being the reincarnated versions of them. And we find out that, the Sirens and human conflict was not started by him killing the goddess. They were lovers. The island exists because of them. And she betrayed her sisters for him, which is why there's the whole conflict, because she wants revenge on the Sun Prince. Basically.
Okay, alright.
I get the feeling there's hints to the story that we're not getting all the way, but...
Hints to the original fairy tale is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh no,
I kind of think that.
I've read the fairy tale, I'm getting what is and isn't.
Yeah, so basically, the whole thing is because she was piased. So the Sea Witch is like, yeah, take that one, kill the sister, kill the spare. And by the way, Celeste, I'm calling in my favor, you're not allowed to fight. Horrid. So Raiden's like, if any of you touch her, I will literally murder you. So the guys are like, do we listen to the Sea Witch? Do we listen to the Prince Boy? Neither, because sirens show up.
Oh no.
Ha. So the chorus shows up. And so the men, plus the crew, are drawn in, including Kiyomi, who is injured and dragging herself there. Not Raiden, because, Sun Prince descendant. And so Raiden's trying to, get his people not to be drawn in. And Celeste actually sees Maeve and is like, hey, no, bruh, can you, stop them from, trying to murder my people? And Maeve is like, bish, why? Do it yourself. And she's like, no, I can't. The Sea Witch told me I wasn't allowed to fight. Please, they're like my family. And Maeve is like, fine. So, she does a little note thing. Then the generals are like, excuse me. What the hell's this? And she's like, well, the princess said so. And they see Celeste has this, almighty trident. And they're like, well, damn. Guess, So she's like, hey, y'all heal Kiyomi before she dies. And also, don't attack these people. You want to attack those people over there. And they're like, well, you have the magical trident, so we'll do what we want. Gosh, guess we can't execute you.
Guess we can't execute you. You're too important. Wow, that's the best way to avoid execution, is being important.
I don't think that went well for Marie Antoinette, but...
that's fair. Maybe a little too important gets you executed too.
Yeah, you gotta find the middle ground.
Yeah.
So, Raiden and the crew decide to help her. Remember, she still thinks Raiden doesn't love her. So they get to the revenge. Even Bastion is now on her side. I guess he switches sides faster than a goddamn bungee jump. I don't know. So Sephine goes on the kingship. Celeste sees Sephine nod solemnly in her own words. She starts using the powers of the goddess to raise the water to cover the island that they're on.
Drown the humans.
So then she also starts heating the water, which would kill all the sirens.
Oh.
And then eventually she explodes the ship her sister's on.
Oh.
So we do not get the answer to this, okay? We do not get the answer to why Sephine does not fight back and why she does what the king wants. Because this book is not a standalone. Fair warning. This is not. I still have questions, Kelsey. So Celeste almost fucking drowns because she's, still in human form. The sirens help the crew and everyone. They, she almost dies, but, she wakes up. She's on driftwood with the rest of the crew. And Maeve, she finds out that Maeve's girlfriend and two other people, one of which is one of the main generals, died in the conflict. One of them actually got exploded right in front of her.
Yummy.
So the sirens take them to this trade route where they can get picked up by people. They get to Port Valerno, Raiden actually apologizes to Celeste, and he's like, I'm gonna make this right. I swear to God, I didn't know any of this was gonna happen. And Celeste is like, Bish, I don't accept this apology. Despite the fact that, in her own words, it hurts her to not accept his apology. Because she still believes he never loved her when it was very clear he did. So they get to Port Voluno. He gives her back her trident, the fancy glowy trident, because he didn't want any of the merchants to take it from her. And they find that Raiden's home, Port Voluno, is under fucking water.
What?
Yes. He had Sephody raise the water to basically drown Port Voluno.
Oh, the king did that.
And everyone's like, Raiden, did you know your dad was going to do this? And he's like, fuck no, I didn't know he was going to do this. And they're like, what about our families? Like, what the fuck? So they're going they're like, okay, we're going to go figure out what happened to our families. Is anyone still alive, basically? And the book ends on the cliffhanger of Raiden possibly knowing a guy who might know what his dad's planning next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kelsey, I loved your YouTube channel sometimes. I say sometimes because every once in a while I just watch for some Sims content. I also loved when you were on BuzzFeed. I have questions.
What the fuck, Kelsey? What the fuck?
Honestly, not the worst book that has come across this so far.
I would have given this 5 stars, but what the fuck was with the ending of me not knowing what the fuck happened next, Kelsey? The ending is why I don't give this 5 stars.
What is it if it's
I really liked this book. I'm giving it like a 4.5, 4.8, something like that, because I loved the chemistry between Raiden and Celeste. I did not do it justice. You gotta go read the book, guys. I was upset because the ending's not satisfying to me because, it's trying to continue, but I don't know when the next book is because this came out this year.
I was just checking out her website and no information.
Yeah, there's no information on if there's even going to be a sequel. I'm guessing there is because it was really liked. But the ending's not satisfying to me.
Let me just go quietly to her Instagram and see. Oh, hey, she likes the same books I like.
Yeah, the biggest thing that wasn't satisfying to me was the ending. I know it's supposed to be, setting up for the next book. Promise of Peridot and Dawn of Onyx did the same thing, but I knew the book was having a sequel afterwards.
That's fair.
So, before I get into my talking points, other than the disappointing ending, what do you have any questions?
Honestly, I'm not upset. While the story follows some pretty predictable storytelling, that is all stories, so I'm not saying that as a negative thing, just that it follows story structure very well, and that is a compliment.
This is also the author's first book.
Yes.
That is something to know.
I will say...
I might tag her in our promos when we do this.
Do it.
I tried to do that to Serena Valentino, but I couldn't find her online.
Fair. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of fated mates, soulmates, bullshit romances.
They're not fated mates.
Yes, but reincarnation love stories are acceptable to me.
So, yeah. So they're not fated mates. It's also... Yeah. It's also not confirmed if they are technically reincarnations. The Sea Witch is just pondering that when she says it. But it is hinted at.
The Sea Witch said it, but I thought it back when I heard that he wasn't affected by the siren song earlier. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that is the big thing, is the fact of he's not affected, so there has to be something that causes that.
Yeah.
Which, I'm one of those weird people where as I'm reading, it's not really... Like, I'll pick up on stuff like that, but I don't start, pulling out theories. And I think part of that is the fact of I like to go through the books and stuff like that. If it's a movie, I'll do that, though.
Oh, yeah. It's so much easier to do that with a movie, though.
Yeah. I loved the chemistry between them. That was one of the biggest things. That, for me, I have a hard time feeling chemistry between characters a lot.
Same.
There's, there's some times when I do, and that's when I really am able to just absorb myself into a book. That's why I was able to do that with Dawn of Onyx, but not Promise of Peridot.
Yeah.
That's also why I can't, I'm sorry, I can't get into Court of Thorns and Roses because I don't feel the chemistry between them.
There's a lot of people who mistake banter and, there's banter.
Yeah.
And then there are people who think they're writing banter, but they're just writing abuse.
Yes. And also, one of the biggest props I have to this, and this is a props that I also give to Daughter of the Pirate King, is there's no spice in these books, but you still feel the chemistry and tension between the characters, because a lot of authors put smut in books in place of development.
Yes.
You also really like the character of Raiden. He's really... I personally think he's a bit of a complex character because he has that, his feelings for Celeste on top of the feelings he has about his father and the mission he's on top of his guilt for the past crew deaths he has and taking care of his current crew. You get those tender moments he has with her, as well as, him also still being a goddamn pirate.
Yeah.
I also like that she is not immediately good at shit.
It's so refreshing. It is so incredibly refreshing to not have a borderline Mary Sue or just a Mary Sue.
Yeah. Like, she's able to save herself. She's able to save him. She still has to figure out how to walk. When she's stuck in that jail cell with Kiyomi, she's walking back and forth, practicing walking all night because she does not want to sleep around humans. She's uncomfortable using a sword despite having fought in the water with a trident her whole life. Mm-hmm. The fact that she can speak the human language because she was taught it as a kid, but is not able to read is also something I like. And she's not, used to the customs of people either. But it's not in the way that Ariel is, where there's still a little bit of that, curiosity and excitement upon, seeing something new with humans. But it's not in the way of seeing a fork and brushing your goddamn hair because you've heard it from a seagull. Why are you trusting a seagull?
Because who else does she have to tell her that information?
Fair.
To be fair, Ariel
I also like the family dynamic.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was going to say Ariel also struggles with walking for a second, but...
Yes, I do like that.
Gets over it quickly.
Yeah, she got over it really quickly, is my big thing. This one, it took her a long while. She had to adjust.
Good.
And I like that it's that instead of, the pain of walking. I also like that it's not an instant love thing. She still, there's still, she finds Raiden attractive, but she's also annoyed as shit by him.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to like him.
Yeah.
She wants to do what she has to do and go the fuck home. She is blaming him for what happened, basically. Which is nice. It's refreshing. It's not, a complete enemies to lovers thing, but there is I'm guessing, whenever book 2 comes out, Kelsey, there better be a book 2, Kelsey.
I'm sure there will
and
be.
And it better be as good, or I'm gonna be pissed. I will say, is his name the same in this one too? What is his name in this? Oh my god, it is the same. Okay, so I read Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen last year. Guy's name is the same. And there is also a third act breakup thing where the spelling's slightly different. This one has an A, this one doesn't. Where there's a bit of a third act breakup thing where she realizes the betrayal of the guy she falls in love with in that one as well. Unless I completely misunderstood the guy's name. No, it's Raiden. There's just an A instead of an I.
Amazing.
And I also, there is that chemistry aspect of that as well. Yeah, the only other thing of note is how the magic works, and even then I'm not completely sure on that either.
That's a little frustrating. There's high magic and low magic, and then sometimes you have to explain how it works, and sometimes you don't. But,
it's not a big gap in this one. You get a bit of it in, they sing for their magic and stuff like that. There is still the question of, because of how attached to her emotions her magic is that what caused the big wave to right the ship, that sort of thing. But yeah, we don't know how often this ritual has to happen. Can she do the ritual as well? Does she have the same power as Stephanie? Can she explode a ship? I don't know.
I'm sure she can.
I also don't think she knows. Because you get the big feeling that a lot has been kept from her.
Yes, obviously, because she thinks that the voice of the ocean is a myth, and meanwhile, the voice of the ocean is her sister. But in these types of stories, generally the underdog becomes more powerful than the not underdog, so in theory, she should be more powerful than her sister by the end of the story, just by nature of being the main character.
Yeah, so I will say, if I had gone into this book knowing that it was book one of what is going to be either a duology or a trilogy or whatever, I probably would have given this the 4.8 to 5 star because I didn't know, and because other people didn't know as well. That is why I'm giving it a 4.5, because I did it. The way it reads on the back and how it reads on the Amazon listing, you don't know this isn't a standalone. And I wasn't the only one who had that as well.
That throws me off a lot when Amazon and Goodreads and otherwise don't immediately tell you that there should be one, and there's no obvious.
That was the big thing, is I did not know this was not a standalone. Like, I thought this was all going to be wrapped up in a neat bow by the end of the book. No. And I think part of that is I was also listening to it on the audiobook for a lot of this, so I wasn't looking at how many pages was at the end. Like, this is how much is left when the sirens come into the last final fight.
That's, yeah. When you're listening to the audiobook.
So if I had been reading it, I would have figured it out sooner than listening to it on audiobook, but I had work.
Not to bring back Holly Black. In the first book of The Cruel Prince, it ends on this cliffhanger of, okay, what happens next? But it also ends with a lot of the story ties being tied up together. So there's like...
Yeah.
Hi, Morticia. What a meow. That definitely came up on the recording, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of ending with, like, that's it, that's what happened, it ends with an, oh my god, that happens, but there's still going to be a fallout of that happening, so
yeah,
I want to know what happens next. Instead of it being like an, oh my god, that happens, and massive cliffhanger. I just prefer the Holly Black method.
I will say, when I was explaining this to Dalton, because he was wondering about the book, one of the things that he commented on was the fact of they're still in that pseudo breakup, basically, at the end, too. Part of that is, she doesn't accept his apology. She's still in the mindset of, oh, he never loved me, that sort of thing. I do hope that they do not do dual perspective for book 2.
Please, no.
Because, yeah.
I'm so tired of dual perspective. Please, no.
I am too. I like that this wasn't, because if you had had dual perspective, a lot would have gotten ruined.
Mm-hmm. There's some exceptions to dual perspective. So when I was younger, I read a book where the dual perspective was necessary because the female lead and the male lead were actually doing 90% of the book separate from each other, but what they were doing was interacting on a grander scale so much that you could see the effects of the other person, but again, not interacting with each other, which, yeah, that's a great way to do dual perspective. Another way is Stephanie Garber. I love Stephanie Garber. Every time she writes a book series, it's the book you just bought me, Alchemy of Secrets. That's Stephanie Garber's newest book. Every single series that she writes a trilogy, and the third book of a trilogy is multi-perspective. I'm not saying dual perspective, it's multi-perspective. And I think that's what makes her third books a little bit weaker than the rest of the series, but it's so much fun, I'm not caring. Like, it is a wild ride, and she doesn't break any of my rules to dual perspective, multi-perspective. It's just that it's there, and it's fun. And finally, Holly Black. Once again, I am a shill for Holly Black. She doesn't do dual perspectives in the same book, but within a series, between books, she will shift perspectives. So in the duology that is a spin-off of The Cruel Prince, The Prisoner's Throne, the first book is from the female lead's perspective, and the second book is from the male lead's perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of like how the author who did Twilight released book 1 from Edward's perspective, which made it worse, by the way.
It did.
Midnight Sun was not a good idea.
Stephanie Meyer, what are you doing?
Girl.
Yeah.
You should have been writing horror novels.
Yes, Stephanie Meyer should be. Honestly, like...
Because, by God.
Her writing's not that bad. It's just, the movie was pretty unkind to the story. If
you're not taking it seriously.
Yeah. If you remember that it is a young adult book written by
It still didn't have the greatest lessons for young adults, I will say.
Oh, no, it's definitely very Mormon. That book is so Mormon.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, not that Harry Potter had the greatest shit either.
Yeah.
But that's for another episode.
Yeah, I've vented to you quite a bit about my gripes with Harry Potter, and we're gonna keep my gripes for Harry Potter when we actually go over Harry Potter. Unless it's me talking shit about Snape. I'll do that for free.
Do that for free. All right, I think that's all we have to say at this point.
Oh, beautiful.
Go buy this book so that she will write me a sequel, or I'm gonna have to go find Kelsey myself.
Kelsey, before Thyme visits me in Los Angeles, do you need a heads up?
I would like to... Fuck you, Morticia. I would like to preface this. I know nothing about this author. I've never seen her on YouTube. I've never watched any of her content. I know nothing about this author. That was an empty threat.
It's really funny because I remember Kelsey and Pisha K on BuzzFeed, and then she made her own YouTube channel where she made gaming videos, and now she's a book author, and I know her. I don't subscribe to her. I'm sorry. I'll subscribe if you want me to, Kelsey, but I don't actually subscribe to you because I'm really picky about who I subscribe to. I have to watch 60 at least 60% of all of your most recent uploads within a month period, otherwise I either subscribe or unsubscribe. But yeah, I knew her. I knew this book was coming out because she's been in my purview before. You didn't know this book was coming out. You read the book before I even thought about it.
Well, I am a little bit of a slut for pirates and mermaids.
Fair.
I mean, how many books did I get at Powell's that were mermaid themed? Despite the fact that I hate The Little Mermaid.
Quite a bit. You buy a lot of... You love the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, I if I could, I would live on a goddamn ship. That is my dream.
Gotta get a houseboat.
It would be weighed down by all the books, though.
True. You need to get a house, a beach home, so that you can have your books there, and then a ship so that you can enjoy the day on the boat.
See, the real dream is to buy a tiny island off the coast of Scotland, and then you get those windmills that scream, because then people will think that your island is haunted, and then you live in a castle surrounded by books and cats a la Enya style, and then you get left the fuck alone.
Actually perfect. Beautiful.
Yeah. See, we'll have neighboring castles on this island.
Perfect. Alright, I guess I should do the outro. Alright, book crows, join us next time for Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all those interaction things that I'm supposed to tell you to do, and have a good night.